Donna Blanchard, and this is your ThinKTech Daily News for Tuesday, June 9th, 2015. The outbreak of Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS, in South Korea is the largest reported outside Saudi Arabia, where more than 440 people died since it was discovered in 2012. In South Korea, 95 infected people have been identified and 7 have died. As the disease's path has been followed through 9 hospitals, all pneumonia patients will be interviewed beginning tomorrow, and nearly 2,900 people are now isolated. It's believed that the outbreak began with one 68-year-old man who was examined in 4 separate hospitals trying to find some relief from his pneumonia-like symptoms. The World Health Organization acknowledges that the virus is not easily identified because its symptoms are similar to other respiratory infections like the common cold. But the quick spread of the virus may have been symptomatic of the overcrowded hospital system there. Patients may have to move from one hospital to another to receive care, and outside family members often carry out some of the nursing work for their loved ones, exposing them to infections as well. Hong Kong has now issued a red alert for travel warning for South Korea. Residents are advised to avoid non-essential travel and unnecessary visits to healthcare facilities. The World Healthcare Organization is working with South Korea doctors and officials to assess the outbreak and review the government response. Despite the fact that the U.S. has led an airstrike against Islamic State militants, or ISIS, in Syria and Iraq, ISIS continues to stage attacks and gain ground. In Libya, ISIS has captured a critical power plant and has pushed the Misratan militia out of Sirte, where it was sent by the provisional government in Tripoli to expel the militants. In Iraq, 2 gunmen wearing suicide vests attacked a local council building in Amirat al-Fallujah, one of the last areas held by government control in Anbar province. ISIS continues to gain ground because it is more sophisticated and well-trained and networked than many government resistance. Some militia leaders have blamed retreat on the fact that they had not been paid, offering poor defense against jihadist groups loyal to the caliphate. United Nations diplomats have been working for 6 months to negotiate the formation of a unity government that would bring together Libya's 2 rival factions, in part to more effectively counter the Islamic State's expansion, as President Obama has committed to asking the Pentagon today to accelerate the American military's efforts to train and equip Iraqi fighting forces against Islamic State. Since its public break with al-Qaeda last year, ISIS has occupied the jihadist limelight while seizing cities in Syria and Iraq, but al-Qaeda is still going quite strong, employing far different tactics. ISIS maintains those who do not join them are the enemy, while al-Qaeda seems to have evolved well beyond the insular profile of the Osama bin Laden days. While Iran-backed Houthi rebels battled Syria-backed Yemeni soldiers, al-Qaeda stormed the city of al-Mukalla in southern Yemen, seized government buildings, released jihadists from prison, and stole millions of dollars from the central bank. Then, instead of imposing Islamic law and raising their flags, they passed control to a civilian council and gave it a budget to pay salaries, import fuel, and hire teams to clean up the garbage. The fighters then receded into the background and maintain only a single police station to arbitrate disputes. In fact, they're allied with armed tribes to fight Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. They're fighting for the same goal as the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. In Syria, al-Qaeda allied fighters are important members of a rebel coalition, the Nusra Front, against President Bashar al-Assad. Over the last few years, al-Qaeda has broken into factions. Those in Syria and Yemen are faring better than those in South Asia and North Africa. In the areas they dominate, they do not impose Sharia or Islamic law. Rather, they pay salaries, distribute food, and help repair plumbing, and invite locals to join their religion. Though locals are tolerating and accepting al-Qaeda occupation, many worry that they are simply laying the groundwork to eventually impose al-Qaeda will and turn their attention back to vanquishing the West. Hui ho, everyone. Donna Blanchard, ThinKTech Daily News.